My name is Brian Arrington. I just retired from the Air Force July 1st, 2019, after 20 years, 1 month, and 12 days on active duty in the Air Force. And some of you might be like, well, if this guy just got out of the Air Force, what the heck does he know about building relationships on LinkedIn and making connections? And what I can tell you is for a year and 3 months into my transition journey, I spent every waking moment researching the transition process. When I learned that there was over 40,000 veteran service organizations nationwide that provided free support and services to us and our family members, and me as a senior NCO, senior non-commissioned officer, getting out, learning this, it really made me upset, actually very furious. All I could think back to was 2002 when I put on E5 Staff Sergeant in the Air Force, and 3.5 years in, and all the airmen since then, in the 18 years of that time frame, that I basically get out the military without setting them up for success on the outside because of my own ignorance on all the free resources out there. And all I could think about was how many of them were part of the 22 who killed themselves a day, or unemployed, or underemployed, or on substance abuse, or divorced, or incarcerated, all because I had not set them up for success. And so in my journey, I learned that there was no single site repository where all the free veteran resources were co-located and with ease for veterans, military spouses, dependent children, Gold Star family members, and caregivers. So while still on active duty in my last 6 months, I built it. And the nonprofit organization that I run is called Vets to Industry, VETS, the number two, industry.com. It's a free resource library of all the free resources out there for yourselves and your family members. Completely free access, no login required, and it's updated every couple of weeks with more free resources as we find them, curate them, vet them, and then put them on. Currently, I have 116 volunteers that are all currently serving active duty, transitioning or transition service members, those who are retired, or mill spouses. I have a ton of mill spouses. I also have a couple of dependent work age children, so I can get the voice of the dependent child. And also I have my first Gold Star family member, who is the sister of a fallen Iraq War vet during 2003. So we have all those individuals there in order to bring that sense. Got some feedback from somebody. Hello? There we go. Okay. I don't know how to read people. Right. So that's who I am. I transitioned out into Wells Fargo through networking. I literally happened through a accidental in-mail, which I'll tell you all about for those of you who are not familiar with or haven't played around with LinkedIn too much. And then through that LinkedIn in-mail, which was a random cold, think of an email that you would get from a stranger. That's what a LinkedIn in-mail is. It's a random stranger sending you a message to connect. And an individual by the name of Kenya Spratt, an Army E7 Ranger at Fort Benning, Georgia, sent me a message and said, hey, I see that you're transitioning out, you're retiring next year. Are you going to CMA tomorrow? And I had no idea what CMA was. So I said, well, what's CMA? And he said, Centauri Military Alliance, ... And I said, I don't know what that is. What's Centauri Military Alliance? And he said, it's a VSO. I said, Kenya, if you don't stop with these Army acronyms, just tell me what this is. And he starts laughing and said, well, it's a veteran service organization, provides free resources and support to veterans and military families. And I had never heard of that before. So I went to the Centauri Military Alliance, which some of you might be aware of, and Shante Hall provided a phenomenal transition seminar. This is when I was 1 year and 3 months out from retiring. Through that, I met Justin Pearson, Brian Armstrong, and they were connected to me from Shante and CMA program. Fast forward 9 months later, after meeting with Justin, he ends up leaving Victory, goes to work for, so, can I mute? He goes to work for Wells Fargo, and seeing my transition and everything I was trying to do, he basically told me, "Well, you know that Wells Fargo has consultant roles," and I said, "No, I had not known that." And it was through that network that I actually landed with Wells Fargo. So that's a little bit about my background, and this is kind of why you should kind of listen to me, and I'm going to go into more detail. So, I don't know how to mute people. Too. All right, going to the next slide. So what I want to do is show you a brief, 3-minute video, but this is why social media is super important for you all. And can you all hear that? You cannot hear it.
No, I can't hear it.
All right, it's okay. It's just music in the background. You won't need to just watch it. Be all right.
And I'm sorry, whoever, somebody has maybe a parrot or something in the background. If you can please mute your phone. I'm not sure what that squeaking noise is. I don't have the authority or the admin rights to mute everybody, but out of courtesy, ladies, let's go ahead and mute our phone. I mean, mute your mic.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Sorry about that. So think about that number. Every second, 2 new members join LinkedIn. So when you think about brand, don't just think about the brand of a product, but think about yourself. You are the brand on LinkedIn. So how you develop your brand tells people why or if they should connect with you. And you can see it's a little dated because it has vines on it, but it's still pretty accurate information. For you marketing people out there, probably enjoy that. And they're not lying about that either. My watch on. So I hope that made a little bit of sense. So one of the key takeaways from there is you obviously want to go where there's people, right? If you're trying to grow your network, your professional brand, build relationships to either find your career that you desire, find maybe you're building your business and you're trying to find people to help support you in your supply chain or mergers, things of that nature. If you want to build a franchise, you want to go where there's people. And LinkedIn is where those people are at, those professional people are. So we're going to cover what LinkedIn is, how to build a strong profile, how to build your network, and then how to use LinkedIn as a job search tool by building that network. So first thing, 3 guiding rules. You want to build your network before you ever need it. Some of you may be transitioning out now. Some of you may be military spouses who are planning on PCSing soon to the next duty station. You might know where you're going. You might not know where you're going. So it's key that you start building that network before you even need it, because it takes time to build a relationship. You want to build quality relational networks, not quantity. So it doesn't matter if you have 10,000 people in your network, if you only engage, or they only 5 people or 20 people engage with you, it's a waste of space, and you're not seeing the content, and they're not seeing the content that they like. So think aspirational. You want something. Everybody wants something. It could be just a connection, a friendship, or it could be ultimately landing that perfect career opportunity out there. So think about what your goal is for utilizing LinkedIn and develop your plan to make that happen. So I'm going to show you one more quick video. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It has words in it, so we're going to skip that one. I'll make this slideshow available to Dress for Success Austin, so they can send out the PowerPoint, so you all will be able to watch the videos. So a couple stats, I'm not going to go through all of these because you'll get this slideshow, but 313 million users worldwide, and that continues to increase daily. There's no way of actually pinpointing the number down how many LinkedIn, but you can see if you want to find somebody in some kind of industry, has some kind of background that's equivalent to yours, you're going to find them on LinkedIn. It's just bound to happen. So as you read some of these, 56% of users are male, 42% are female. Of that group, 94% are using LinkedIn. You are 7 times more likely to have your profile viewed if there's a photo. So we're going to show you now how to build a profile, how to build your network, and through that, how to build your brand. So there's not that many on here right now. So is there anyone who does not have a LinkedIn profile, or it's so bare bones that you don't have really anything on it? Anybody in that situation? And it's okay to speak up, because this is where we learn.
Mine's not very set up. This is normal.
Okay, good. I say good because then you have something to learn here. All right. So we'll keep going through, but I wanted you guys to realize when we're looking at how to set up the profile, first thing you got to do is get registered on LinkedIn. So Nora, do you have a LinkedIn? You have a LinkedIn profile, right? You're just not set up yet? Okay.
I have a LinkedIn profile. It's kind of there, but it's not very good.
Okay. Well, it'll be phenomenal after you learn how to do it today.
Thank you.
So after you set up, it's bare bone. You have nothing on there. Okay. So you have all these different sections, and like, oh my goodness, where do I even start? So I'm going to break down where to start and what the importance of the sections are before you start growing that network out, because it's going to matter. First thing is a photo. And yes, people will connect with you if you have a photo. If you don't have a photo, even I don't normally connect with people unless I know for a fact they're a transition service member just starting their account out, so that way I can help them out. But if I get a random request without somebody sending a tailored, personalized invite saying that they're a transition service member, and it's just one connection or 0 connections and a blank photo with nothing, it could be a bot. It could be somebody from Nigeria trying to sell me something, whatever. So you got to brand yourself first before you start connecting with people. Okay. All right. So there are some bad examples. All right, LinkedIn is not Facebook. So you want to stay away from, the celebrity photos, your family excursions and trips and stuff. You want to make it as professional, what you're going to dress in, what you want to brand yourself as. If you want to be in corporate America, you want to make sure you're dressing that way in your professional photo. If you don't have the money for a great wardrobe, then just look at getting yourself a headshot that doesn't actually have a lot of clothing, like the lady to the far right. Maybe that's a good picture for you if you can't afford a fancy outfit to go down midriff. Then you get something that's just headshot. So kind of take a look at that. All right. So you want to stay away from any pictures where you've cut out where somebody's arm is hanging around you and you've cut out the arm or cut out the person, but the arm's still hanging there. You want it to be a single photo of yourself. Okay. You try to get an HD photo or something that's really sticks out. Make sure your background is very normal. All right, not anything busy. A lot of light. Light is really good. So you're going to look to see photo. Does it have to be fancy or just use your cell phone camera? All right. You're going to look at your headline, and the headline is where you tell people what you want to do, what you're excited about, where you sit in where you want to go. All right. And I'll explain that. So here's my LinkedIn profile, my headline. So after step 1 is done, pictures up there. Step 2 is that headline. So you can see that I have myself branded because I'm very fond of education. I have a lot of education background. I really want that education front and center. I want people to know. And then underneath it, business initiative consultant is what I do for Wells Fargo during the day. I am also the founder of Best Industry. I want people to know that. I've been nominated and was accepted into the Global Goodwill Ambassador Program, which is a very amazing honor. So I put that on there, but I also want people to know that I was a U.S. Air Force veteran. So I put in there something quick and easy for people to be able to identify what brand I want to present. I don't have down here, and I kept this up here so you guys can see, there's a feature where you can show recruiters that you're open to new opportunities. I'm very happy with Wells Fargo, and the last thing I want to do is have any of the talent acquisition people saying, why is Brian looking for open to new opportunities with Wells Fargo, outside of Wells Fargo? But you could actually, in the settings, go and turn on so recruiters will see you in their recruiting tool, okay? So next is writing your summary. Now your summary is going to be about you. What is it now? It used to be summary, they just changed it to about, and I have that on the next page, but whom are you and what you want to do? All right, so this is my about section. I'm not going to read it through, but it tells you, where I come from and where I want to go. All right, why I should be where I want to go. All right, experience section. You're going to need to tell people where you worked at. Now, in order to get to all-star level, you actually have to have all of these sections filled out. And all-star level actually boosts your brand, your profile to recruiters out there. If you're looking for, if you're trying to find a job, you want to hit that all-star level. You have to have at least 50 connections. You have to have all of the sections filled out, and you have to have at least more than 3 skills put in. I tell everybody, put 50 skills down because you have the skills, and then you're going to want to get people to put recommendations on you. You're going to want people to endorse you for skills. So make sure you hit all those up, but you want to hit all-star level on your profile, not beginner, not intermediate, but get to that all-star. Any organizations you've been a part of. Now, this is going to help you when you're starting to find individuals within the LinkedIn community that have the same kind of interests and have same backgrounds as you. So if you plug in an organization the LinkedIn algorithm will actually, have your profile linked to that organization, and anyone else who's linked to that organization. When you do a find search, you can actually click on the organization or the experience or the education or the alumni club or the volunteer background, and it'll tell you all the people in the area that you elect, or if it's just global, whom also shares that same connection. And so you'll be able to fine tune, and we'll show that a little bit later on how to do that. But this is why you want to put in what kind of organizations you work for, because it builds your commonality with people in the second and third tier connections. All right, education, another important piece. For those of you who have been to college, might have been 10 years ago, man, I wish I remember the people's names I went to school with. Well, guess what? If you put in the education center section the name of the school that you went to, it actually will, again, link to anyone else who's put that college, that university into their section. So when you do a find search, you can find people that went to, I went to Syracuse University, but I live in Georgia, okay? Syracuse is in New York. So if I want to do a search for people that go to Syracuse that are in Georgia, I can put those in the filters, and it'll bring me up every single person that's within LinkedIn that went to Syracuse University and is living in Georgia. And it filters down so that I can do direct contact with those individuals based on a commonality. But without having that in there, it's going to be very hard for people to find you. It's going to be almost impossible if that's the commonality, and also difficult for you to get their attention if they're like, why is this person contacting me? They don't have anything in common with me. Volunteer experience. So if you did the American Red Cross, or you were working with Habitat for Humanity, anything of that nature, you put that in there. That's another link to somebody else within the LinkedIn community. And if that's your passion, your goal, and those are the kind of people that you want to engage with, having that in your section, your volunteer experience is what you want to do. You could also put in what kind of causes you love. This helps people when they're looking at your profile to see what kind of person you are. So if you have things like homelessness and poverty and child abuse, substance abuse, things of that nature that you're trying to fix, right, in this world, that those things are really passionate to you, you're going to have people with like beliefs reaching out to you with possible opportunities for non-governmental officer organization work, or maybe just building a community. Maybe they're trying to build a nonprofit organization, and they think you'd be a great member for their board because of all the experience you have in all the causes. So that's the reason why you want to have those things in there. Skills and expertise. I talked a little bit about that. You want to make sure you have just a few skills in there. People can actually add skills to your profile. You can accept whether or not you want them or not. Sometimes LinkedIn, when people go to your profile, will say, do you endorse this person for this skill, or want to endorse? Or whom would you go to? There's 4 choices for somebody that's knowledgeable about education. And there'll be 4 choices. You pick the person, and that little skill will populate onto their profile. It says, someone, such and such person endorsed you for this skill. And then you can say thank you to them, which I highly recommend you do. Anytime somebody gives you a recommendation or endorses you for a skill, please reach out to them, thank them for it. It doesn't have to be a quid pro quo. You don't have to necessarily go and do it for them, but at least show that you appreciate it and you've seen that they've done it. Other part is honors and awards. This is going to help you when hiring managers, or you're looking for specific roles. Recruiters are looking for people who have done exemplary stuff, and they're comparing you with other job applicants. Honors and awards. You can actually have lists of courses that you've taken in there, and there's also a section of certificates or certifications. LinkedIn has something called LinkedIn Learning. It used to be called Linda. I don't know how many of you are familiar with it, but you're eligible to get something if you are within a year of transitioning from active duty. There's a free LinkedIn Premium for a year. So you can go and get that. If you are a military spouse and you are PCSing or you just PCS to a new duty station, you can get the military spouse LinkedIn free premium for a year. And you get that every single PCS that you are on while your significant other is on active duty. When they are getting out of the military to retire or separate, you get another free year of LinkedIn Premium. So you could literally, for the life of their 20-year career, so you think about the young military spouses who are coming up, they could go every 2 years to a new base. They can get a free year of LinkedIn Premium every 2 years, including the final one, which is very beneficial because it gives you free access to that LinkedIn Learning, where you can learn everything under the sun, from Microsoft stuff to supply chain to how to be a better leader and how to communicate with people. There's everything under the sun. And LinkedIn lets you, after you finish the course, it's all free. Once you finish the course, it'll let you put that certification that you've taken that class into your profile. And then there's a feature where you can actually print out your profile into a resume form, and it'll provide a resume for you based on everything you put into your profile. Projects. Sometimes you might want to put some projects and things of that nature to show that you've done something. What I do on my profile, and I don't have a picture of it, under my experience section, I have certain media that you can upload to show that you did something. So one of the things that I did is when I was overseas in Turkey, I helped with the USO for General Dunford's USO tour. I have pictures of me as a protocol officer with Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson and Maya Dorado, and showing that I was coordinating a project on a large scale. And you could add those media images and clips to your profile. So if somebody goes and says, well, I don't really think they were a project manager, and they click on your project management experience, they can actually see factual evidence that you actually did that. So it kind of helps to bring credibility to your profile. Recommendations, I talked a little about. Recommendations is gold. You want as many recommendations, but you want recommendations from people who really know you, who you've built a relationship with, or you've done something considerable. You don't just want, hey, this is a good guy, or this is a good gal. Yeah, we had breakfast the other day. It was fun. This is your professional identity. So you want something here is like, this individual was the best teacher I've ever had. They provided expert knowledge and assistance when times were rough for me. I don't believe that I've had any ability of, or I wouldn't have had any chance of learning this product or this project without their assistance. You want something of substance so that people are seeing this recommendation like, okay, well, this person really did something of value. And the more recommendations like that you can get, the better. All right, so we're going to move on to the essentials. One is everyone gets a URL, which is your link. It's the link to get to your profile. With that, it's always like some part of your name, and then it's a really weird number system. You want to change that. There's an area within your profile where you can edit your URL, and you want to change it to something where it's like mine is Brian Arrington 933. So it's something very easy for people to be able to recognize that's me. And you don't want all those numbers where somebody's out there like UXY77810. You don't want any of that. So get rid of that, claim your unique URL, and that's yours forever. Participate in groups. The more groups that you're in of like-minded people, the larger you can grow your network of like-minded people, which then can open up other opportunities for you. There's an alumni tool, which I was kind of talking about. If you put in there your filter that you are a Harvard, alumni of whatever fraternity or sorority at whatever school, or Hiring Heroes Corporate Fellowship Program alum. That's an organization that then opens you up to everybody who has ever been a part of that organization or currently is showing it on their LinkedIn profile. And you can do filter searches for that. It's very, very helpful. Make sure you keep your profile updated. So if you change your job or go somewhere else, update that profile. You don't delete what you did, just add another section of what you're doing. And then make sure it's completed. It'll tell you if your profile is completed or not. So this is the Grow Your Network section. I'm going to make sure everyone has enough time to ask questions, but I wanted to just show you how do you grow your network using the filter searches that are on there. So there's a section, this is on the front page on LinkedIn. If any of you have LinkedIn up right now, you'll see this on your front page. There's a search bar in the top left portion. You click in there and it has all these little filter points: people, jobs, content, companies, schools, groups. Okay, so what I always usually do is go to people first. And I don't need to check first connections. I'm already connected to them, right? So I'm trying to get to the second and the third connection because they're so far away from me. I want to know what's in their network. And it doesn't let you directly connect with third people in here. It's grayed out. So I click on second tier connections. And these are some of the areas that they have. You have locations. So if you're looking for a specific location, just United States. Second tier connections, United States. It'll bring up every single person in the United States that has at least one connection, mutual connection with you. That's what second tier is. A third connection is where you have zero connections. You remember like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon? For those of you who are old enough to remember that. If you don't have a single connection, direct connection to an individual, it comes up as a third plus connection. They are the hardest to get a hold of into your network. So you have to work a little bit harder. But second connection is somebody that you have a mutual connection with. So they could either one, provide an introduction to you if you find them and say, hey, Mary, I know that you're connected to this individual, Brad, that I really would love to talk to about his passion for building homes for the homeless, but I don't want to just do a cold email. Could you introduce me to them? And that's one way of growing your network. Another way is doing a cold email where you would see that second tier connection and you'll read their profile, you'll learn a lot about them. Don't LinkedIn stalk them, right? Don't go to their profile every single day because it'll show people viewed. And that's kind of creepy if somebody's looking at your profile every single day and then they finally reach out to you. So check their profile, see if there's a commonality, see what you like, read some of their articles that are on there, and then send them a message and a personalized invitation. Say, hello, Brad, I really enjoyed your article about helping the homeless out in the community. I have a passion for that as well, but I'm not in that space. Would you be able to get on a 15-minute informational interview call with me so I can learn a little bit more about what you do? And the likelihood of him answering you shoots up exponentially. So that's how to build the network once you find the individual. But let me go a little bit further into some of the other filters. So after the second tier and third tier, you have current companies, past companies, industries. So it gives you some suggestions, but you can type in and add whatever company or whatever past company. So if you want somebody who right now is working for USAA, you would type USAA in there because that's the company you're targeting. Or you want somebody who works for 4Block, right? Because you want to get into the 4Block, or your husband or your wife wants to get into 4Block in their transition, but you don't know anyone there. You could type in 4Block as a current company, and it'll bring up all the people in there. So you can try to find one of the regional presidents or regional directors, so you can get them assistance. Next, you have profile language. So if you speak, if you're bilingual, you want to connect to somebody who just speaks French, and they put that in their profile. Schools, all right, another thing, they give you some suggestions, but it's not an all-inclusive list. And then contact interest. So some people can actually put on their everyone can put on their profile things that they're interested in getting connected for. So you can actually put on your profile, please contact me for being on a nonprofit board or for mentorship. And people will see that in your profile, and then that's another commonality that they can connect with you to. And then lastly, you have your services down here. Any service category. So it's basically what kind of industry or what kind of job role people that are in. And so what it looks like is when you do a search, and I did a search here, I did, first search I did was for United States people that are still in the Air Force, that they have been past companies. I put down Army and Navy, and I put that they're second tier and they speak English. I didn't care about location. And this is what came up. There's 526 results. So if you go into your system right now, your second, it'll look a little bit different for you because your second connections are different than my second connections because of who we're connected with, right? So it'll always be different. So if I wanted to look at Air Force, people that are currently in the Air Force or have Air Force on their profile, past companies where Army and Navy had something to do with them and spoke English, I can go and I don't want to hit connect because connect will automatically send a message to them that I want to connect. I want to go to their profile first and click on those three ellipses next to the connect button. And that's where you can select personalized invitation. That's the only way that you want to connect with people. Okay, if you don't take anything out of this class, take out personalized invitation. All right, this is where you ask somebody, you tell them why you want to connect with them. It's very easy for somebody to ignore your request, but if somebody receives, it's like when we had AOL dial-up back in the day, when you got a message on AOL, you wanted to see what the message was before you just auto-deleted it. It's the same thing. People want to read that message because it's personalized. So you have a much more likely chance of getting connected. So then I did another search because I wanted to show you all the difference. So this time I searched not for United States Air Force, my current company, but I want to work for Booz Allen Hamilton. And I want past companies I want somebody that's been in the military. I want to go to San Antonio, Texas, because my sister or my wife's mother is in the hospital, and we want to travel there and be with her after we PCS. I want it to be a second tier because I don't care right now. I'm trying to expand my network. I don't want the first tier connections because I don't need to search for people I already connected with, and I only want people that speak English. And 31 people come up that meet that criteria, that I can go and look at every one of their profiles and see if there's a commonality. Maybe if I could put in Syracuse as a school, maybe one or two of them were a Syracuse University student that I can really build a relationship with because of that commonality. So this helps you fine tune whom you want to reach out to and get support in. So if I want to get into Booz Allen Hamilton, I want somebody that has my same background. I throw in there Syracuse University. I find two people. Then I have a much better chance of landing in that company with an internal referral or an informational interview or whatever I wanted to do at that point. So that's what I had. LinkedIn is so big. It's so hard to cover everything. And of course, having various levels of skill set, I wanted to make sure that I had the foundation built for you all before I went to the growing your network.